Hey everyone, name. If you're a fan of spine-tingling tales and paranormal mysteries, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more creepy content. Tonight's story is a chilling one, set in a remote area where darkness hides more than just the night. Let's dive into the haunting tale of the lonely boy and the shadow. Our story takes place in a secluded rural village surrounded by dense forests and rolling hills. In this isolated corner of the world, the days are long and quiet, and the nights even more so. Here lived a young boy named Jamie, who, after the tragic loss of his parents, moved in with his elderly grandmother, Margaret. Margaret's cottage was the epitome of solitude, an old, weathered house perched on the edge of the forest. The cottage, with its creaky floorboards and overgrown garden, was a relic of a simpler time, but also a place where shadows seemed to linger longer than they should. Jamie, a bright and imaginative child, quickly adapted to life in the cottage. Despite the loneliness of the remote location, he found comfort in his grandmother's stories and the occasional games they played together. But as the days grew shorter and the nights longer, something unsettling began to unfold. It started with small, inexplicable occurrences. Jamie would hear whispers in the dark, soft voices that seemed to come from nowhere. Objects would move on their own, and shadows in the corners of his room seemed to shift and stretch in unnerving ways. One particularly cold and stormy night, Jamie was woken by a loud crash. He sat up in bed, his heart pounding. The wind howled outside, and the old house groaned under its weight. Jamie tiptoed down the creaky stairs to investigate, clutching a flashlight that barely cut through the darkness. In the dim light, Jamie saw his grandmother standing in the middle of the living room, staring blankly at the fireplace. Her eyes were vacant, and she seemed to be in a trance. Jamie called out to her, but she didn't respond. As he approached, a chilling cold swept through the room, making Jamie's breath visible. Suddenly the temperature dropped even further, and Jamie saw it, an ominous shadow moving across the walls. It was a dark, formless entity that seemed to flicker and writhe, almost as if it had a life of its own. The shadow coalesced into a figure that resembled a gaunt, pale man with hollow eyes. Jamie's grandmother's trance-like state continued, and the shadow seemed to reach out towards her. Jamie, terrified but determined, grabbed a nearby broom and swung it at the shadow. The shadow recoiled, its form twisting and contorting before vanishing into thin air. Margaret snapped out of her trance, confusion and fear in her eyes. She clutched Jamie tightly, explaining that she had been having strange dreams. Dreams of a man who had once lived in the forest and had never left, even after death. The following day, Jamie and Margaret sought out the village elder, who revealed a dark history. Many years ago, a man had been accused of witchcraft and was driven into the forest. He was never seen again, but it was believed his restless spirit haunted those who lived nearby. With the elder's guidance, Jamie and Margaret performed a ritual to appease the restless spirit. They made offerings and prayers, hoping to bring peace to the tormented soul. The air in the cottage grew lighter, and the oppressive shadows seemed to dissipate. From that night on, the whispers and shadows in the cottage ceased. Jamie and Margaret lived in uneasy peace, forever marked by the encounter with the shadowy figure that had once haunted their home. So there you have it, the eerie tale of Jamie and his grandmother, and their encounter with a restless spirit. What do you think? Was it a malevolent ghost, or just the product of an overactive imagination? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, keep the lights on and stay safe.